impact fees are only for new growth. So,
I understand that.
So
But who gets the money?
well, it depends what it is.
Because Oak Hill collects it, am I correct?
No.
No?
What happens, it's different depending on what it is. If it's a water and sewer impact fees, those, because we don't have a water service or sewer service, we get that through the county. So the county gets those impact fees to work on their systems with, the impact of growth. We're in the process right now of, at very, very beginning, of developing a park impact fee. That will be collected by us and used by us. But it all depends on what the fee is for and what agency is using that.
So, all right, I kind of missed over this woman that is our person, that
The lobbyist?
lobbyist, and you said you're having a meeting with her when?
Wednesday.
The
think
mayor
it's-
and I are having a meeting this week.
This
Mhm.
week? And in the past, has she found any grants or anything for Oak Hill? Does anybody know?
I don't know if the two
Yeah.
existing commissioners know. We'll be finding that out when we meet with her.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Those were all questions we were
I
asking.
can answer that question.
If you could come to the podium.
What's your address, Jim?
What's your address, Joe? Jim?
What's your
Address?
address?
It's 119 North Game Street.
Thank you.
D.A. Gibson, 297 River Road. Our lobbyist obtained $300,000 from the state, then $3 million. And I think all in total, she collected from the state, even though 300,000 was redlined by the governor, it's close to $4 million.
And has this been recently or how long ago?
21, 22.
But from 22 to 24, do you know of anything that's,
We didn't go after, well, we did. We went after it for stormwater, and it was reduced, the governor redlined, it was reduced from the request of 1 million. The lobbyist, the legislation reduced it to 300,000, then the governor redlined it. So she's doing a good job.
okay, well, I didn't know.
That's
I
okay.
didn't even know there was one.
Thank you for your comment.
Okay, next on the list
Thank
is
you.
Damian James.
Damian James, 322 Palm Avenue. 3 years ago, I built my home, and when we had yard debris, we stuck it up at the end of the road, or on the side of the road on the right of way. They come once a week, pick it up, no problems. In the past year, we've been having problems. They started saying now we have to call when we put up the yard debris at the road. So we called. A couple months ago, I had called twice before it was picked up. This latest time, I waited till after the hurricane debris was picked up. I called the office here 5 times. About an hour after I called Friday, they sent somebody out. They took 3 gravel buckets and they pushed the whole pile out. It was in the road, it's blocking part of our driveway, it's blocking the neighbor's driveway. What can we do about that?
Okay. We'll have to contact him, of course.
I've emailed Steve Cameron multiple times.
Okay. Well, we might have to ask him to come in for a meeting.
You know, they're wanting more money, but they're doing less work, so, I don't think we need to be paying them more money.
I agree.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Tammy Creek.
Tammy Creek, 124 North Gayton Street. Just making an announcement for the Oak Hill Community Trust for sponsoring an annual community citywide picnic on March 8th from 11 to 2. The rain date will be March 15th. And the purpose is to meet your neighbors, distribute a distribution of an informational booklet. We'll have family games. Any club or group can set up an informational table promoting their activities. The invitations will be sent by EDDM, the every door delivery mailer, the second week in January. And if anyone wants to be part of the event and help, you can contact the Community Trust.
Where will it be at?
Oh, I'm sorry, thanks, at the garden.
Community garden.
Community garden.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
Thank you, Tammy.
Tammy?
I'm sorry, what?
The time?
Oh, 11 to 2.
Thanks.
Sorry.
Mayor Gibson?
D.A. Gibson, 297 River Road. Good evening, Commissioners, Mayor.
evening.
Joe, let me start with you. November the 11th should have been a very happy day. Unfortunately, you violated several of the state statutes with your own agenda. Your revenge needs to stop. It's not helping the city. On your website, you have a 5-year road plan. Never mention it in 2 years. I hope that changes. Also, any changes to an agenda, you, Mr. Mayor, are the one that brings it up and makes the change, not one of your commissioners. That's under state statute 102.525, under meetings, hearings, and workshops. Every meeting should have 7 days' notice. Your private meeting, which Joe would have had a field day if I had done it, because he ranted and raved for 2 years. The public needs to know what you're doing. I'm picking on you, Joe, because you need it. I know underneath all of that, you can do good things here. The mayor on the west side said he had a plan to fix the flooding. Can't wait to hear it. I just want the best for this city. Y'all did me a favor by getting elected, because now I'm sitting out here. And I don't have to bite my tongue. Miss Waring, this sunshine violation is a civil matter. If anybody in this commission room decides to file an ethics violation against you, who's paying the fine? You're already on record that you were part of the sunshine violation. Just something to think about. Thank you for your time.
Did you also have something that says community garden?
Yes, that's later on.
Oh,
Do I get to speak then, or do you want me to speak now? I can do it either way.
I don't think there is a,
Yeah, the community garden is under K.
under K. You can wait then.
We'll wait.
Okay?
Yep, thank you for your comment.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That's it? All right, moving on. Consent agenda, we got minutes of November 11th, 2024 commission meeting. The only thing I seen was there was a number 3, a little bit down where it says motion passes 5-1. I didn't think we had 6 people up here. So that needs to be changed, I guess, to 4-1. Other than that-
That's all I saw.
That's all you saw?
Motion to approve. I'll second.
Got a motion, got a second? Any questions or comments from the commission? Any questions, comments from the public? All right, roll call, please.
Mayor Taylor?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Catagano?
Yes.
Commissioner Hyatt,
Yes.
Commissioner Warning,
Yes.
Commissioner Drollinger.
Yes.
Motion passes. City administration reports.
Thank you, Mayor. Just several things for your information or that I need some feedback. The Christmas parade, we now have almost 70 entries in the parade. Megan has done a fantastic job contacting people. Edgewater, I guess how the day will go is, I think all of you are going first to Edgewater for their Christmas parade at 10. And then you'll come back here, and those of you who want to do the wreaths at the cemetery, that's at noon. And then our parade starts at 2. So what we've done is we'll have something here for you to eat, because we know you'll have less than an hour in between those two events, and you'll have a very busy day. If anybody has any questions on the parade, please contact City Hall and ask for Megan. The 2025 commission meeting calendar, we looked at next year. The only conflict that we saw was that Memorial Day falls on the 4th Monday of the month, which is when you would normally have a council meeting. So I guess what we need to know from you is, do we change that date to another Monday or another date, or do we cancel that second meeting in May?
We ordinarily don't have one.
Yeah, I was gonna say we could just cancel
One
it.
meeting in May.
Okay, great. And then the banking requests for proposals that went out were due today. We only received 2, so we'll be going through those, putting together a committee to bring back some recommendations to you at a commission meeting, and we'll probably ask both of those to be in attendance to answer any questions you might have. Site inspections. I wanted to just talk to you a little bit about that. We have several subdivisions in the pipeline, new development. And so I talked to Dennis, our building official, about the plan for having all of those inspected. Dennis is not interested in doing site inspections. He wants to continue to do the work he's doing, but he's only here 2 half days a week. So I have a meeting this week with a gentleman from Universal. Universal Engineering handles the balance of your site, your building inspections when Dennis isn't here. So I'm going to ask them to put together a contract that I can bring forward to you to handle all those. They said they have plenty of inspectors who could handle that type of workload. And I haven't met with him yet, but I'm going to try and negotiate a contract where they would get maybe 80% of the building fees, the permit fees, and then we would maybe keep 20% as admin.
Okay.
I'll see where that goes, but that's my plan.
All right.
And then one last thing. We're currently using Julianne Welch for taking our minutes under a contract that we have with her. I would like approval to expand that slightly. It's come to my attention that we don't have a system for developer billing. In other words, when our consultants are sending in invoices, we have to break those down, send them out to the developers, get paid, and then pay our consultants. There's no system in place, and in fact, we really haven't billed anybody since I think it was June. So if it's okay with you, I've talked to Drew Ann a little bit about her helping me set up a system, getting the ball rolling, and I'd like to do that so we can catch up.
Absolutely.
Okay, do you need a consent on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's, it's not gonna be a lot of money, but I am gonna need her help for a while to set that system up and get the bills set up.
Okay,
Agreed. Agreed, 100%.
okay.
And then lastly, the business tax receipts, I think we've now contacted everybody. That was another thing that wasn't done back in August, September. So we're given the businesses till January to come in and pay that. And we're in process now, so.
Good.
That's all I have.
All right, thank you. City Attorney.
Good evening, Commissioners. We have 3 items to address this evening. The first 2, the Commission directed me to prepare contracts for myself and the City Administrator based upon the terms of the prior City Administrator and prior City Attorney. I've done so. They are included in the agenda, and they reflect all of the same, with respect to the legal services agreement, all substantive provisions remain the same as they were with former City Attorney Simpson. With respect to the City Administrator contract, the only changes relate to Ms. Shira declining benefits from the city, and then also she asked that we remove the provision regarding notice of termination, the hearing, and everything, everything regarding that. So effectively, it's terminable at will by either party.
Okay. All right,
Only comment I would have is there's one small typo here. Okay. You refer to her as a he.
oh yeah, I saw that. If you could you explain your qualifications and explain how it was that you've gotten employed by the city?
Yes. So my name's Michael Kelly. I'm an attorney from Winter Park, Florida. Graduated from the University of Florida in 2019 with honors. I've served as assistant city attorney for the cities of Winter Park, Longwood, DeBary, Belle Isle, and I've also worked at an AmLaw 200 law firm representing multinational developers. I also have pretty significant experience, and I've worked as a managing attorney at a regional litigation, commercial litigation firm. And again, I was approached and recommended that I offer my services to the city at the November 11th hearing, at which time the commission agreed to retain me based upon the terms of the city's agreement with former city attorney Simpson.
Ms. Shira?
I have a bachelor's degree in journalism and political science. I won't say what year I graduated. And a master's in public administration from the University of Central Florida. I spent close to 20 years working in government, primarily for one city. I worked in the planning department and the city manager's office, handling all types of development review, negotiating with developers, working on capital projects that were necessitated by growth. I guess for the years I worked there, the city went from a little under 8,000 to approaching 40,000. So it was a lot of growth. It was the times of the first comprehensive plans and that sort of thing. So I have a lot of experience in working directly for government. And then I left the public sector and opened my own consulting firm. My husband's a civil engineer, and we had a planning and civil engineering consulting business where our clients were only local governments. And we served small local governments, very similar to Oak Hill, where they didn't either have planning and engineers on staff, or with the example of Edgewater, they had a planner on staff, but maybe they needed somebody to help them with the bigger projects. So I did that for about a dozen years. And I have been retired for a number of years, and relocated over here from West Orlando, and don't live in Oak Hill, but I live right outside Oak Hill, and I love the area, and I'm passionate about good planning, and got involved with some issues I saw happening in both Edgewater and Oak Hill, and that's how I came to know some of the city commissioners, and so I was known when they were looking for us for another city administrator.
All right, very good, thank you. All right, go ahead. We need to vote on any of this, or?
Yes, you need to first vote on the legal services contract, and I
Okay.
guess open it up for any public comment.
Sure, okay. All right, so first is legal service contract.
I'll make a motion that we accept the contract.
Okay, Carrie's made a motion.
Linda will
Linda, a
second.
second. Any discussion from the commission? Any discussion from the public? None at this time. Call for a vote.
Mayor Taylor?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Catagano?
Yes.
Commissioner Hyatt?
Yes.
Commissioner Drollinger?
Yes.
Commissioner Werning?
Yes.
All right, motion passes. All right, next is contract for the city administrator contract.
I'll make a motion that we accept that with that one typo being fixed. I'll second it.
All right, Linda, second. Any other questions from the commission? Any questions from the commission or from the public? None at this time. Call for a vote.
Mayor Taylor?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Catagano?
Yes.
Commissioner Hyatt?
Yes.
Commissioner Drollinger?
Yes.
Commissioner Werning?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes.
And then the third item, we have a quasi judicial hearing scheduled for the dismissal of the former city administrator. However, we had the opportunity to engage in some settlement negotiations with Mr. Adams, and Mr. Adams has made a demand that we'd like to present to the commission. Effectively, the demand is that he be paid 12 weeks, remain on the city's benefits during that period of time, be paid all PTO under his contract, and the city formally treat his departure as a resignation. There has been, just before the meeting today, there was some disagreement over the calculation of the hours for the PTO. Ms. Sheeran might be able to explain more specifically the difference, but that's essentially the terms of the demand that was made by Mr. Adams. And Mr. Adams, feel free to come up here and clarify anything, should you feel.
Yeah, I think the only thing left to clarify, I presented that Mr. Adams had, as of tonight, would have a total of 63 hours remaining in his PTO, and that was, he's been paid through the end of November, but continuing to use PTO from the end of November to tonight. he would still have 63 hours. So we would pay him outright for that PTO, and then pay him just like we have been paying him for the 12 weeks, where that would include his salary, his health benefits, his pension. And I know I was asked to provide, a couple of you asked me kind of to bottom line that, and it's a total of $37,706.
And all that being said, if Mr. Adams could clarify specifically what the demand is with respect to the PTO.
And the reason we kept the PTO going is so we could keep him on the payroll, so we could continue to give him, if you accept this tonight, we can continue to give him his benefits. Otherwise, if we had stopped it at the end of November, we would have to rehire him.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, the letter that was presented to me stated that my final day was November 27th. So that effectively ends my employment at the city. The number of hours I would have used for PTO would have started on the 12th and ended on the 27th. So that would have only been 96 hours of PTO and not the 144 that Ms. Shire said. If you had to keep me on staff or whatever to make it so that you could do the severance package, that wasn't expressed to me. That being the case, I don't think I should be penalized just because you need to be able to get your paperwork in order. If you have to do anything
Yeah.
else,
Okay.
if you have to do anything else, that's you just have to do what you have to do. But I don't think I should be on the hook, so to speak, for hours that were not used by me for PTO.
So I guess my question is, assuming the demand that was previously made, it sounds like that's no longer your demand.
It is the same demand. It said to pay the accrued PTO. It didn't specify in the demand the number of hours for the PTO. It said accrued PTO.
Okay.
So the demand is pretty much the same. It's just a discrepancy as far as the hours for the PTO.
And what is, Shira, do you know the discrepancy between
Well,
hours?
The only difference would be he'd be getting the same check, but we would be keeping him on the payroll. So instead of his last day being 11/27, we'd say his last day is 3 months from now, which is what the severance package calls for. And we would still, he would still get paid this next pay period under his PTO, because that way we can keep him on the books and his pay would go out that 3 months from then. So it's the same amount of money, it's just if we canceled his employment 11/27, how are we going to keep him under our health insurance and our pension when it says you have to work for 90 days before you're eligible for those? So we just kept him as a under PTO while we were trying to negotiate the settlement, so that he would continue to be an employee so we could pay those benefits.
Would have been nice if someone had told me. That's all. But as she has explained it, I can understand why it would have to be done that way, so I'm okay with that.
Okay.
So the terms as expressed in the initial email are agreeable to you?
Yes.
Okay. And the valuation on that was 37. Thank you, Mr. Adams.
37,706.
$37,706.01. It's the total value of the severance package.
Okay.
And
I
again,
think he
with-
did an outstanding job while he was here. I think we ought to go ahead and approve it.
Okay. Is that your motion?
Motion to approve it, yes.
Okay. Do we have a second?
You can second it, Mayor.
I'll second it. Any questions or comments from the commission? Any questions, comments from the citizens? Okay. Go for a vote?
Mayor Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Hyatt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Catagano?
No.
Commissioner Drollinger?
Yes.
Commissioner Warning?
Yes.
Motion passes. City planner, none. City engineer, none. Volusia County Sheriff's already spoke. Have anything else?
No, sir.
All right. City administrator matters.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to bring this up for preliminary discussion tonight, and I'll put it back on a future agenda after the holidays. But I was approached by a representative from the Community Trust about the possibility of turning the community garden over to the city. The primary reasons being several. One was currently the Community Trust uses the city's land, leases it. We don't charge them for the lease, but we do make them have insurance for liability and whatever. And as well, they are currently caring for the property, so they're paying people to maintain the grass and what have you. And the other thing that she shared with me is that the maintenance is just getting a little overwhelming for the community trust. So I wanted to kind of put it out there so you could decide, if you want to put it on a future agenda for formal discussion, if you want to have a workshop with the community trust, or how you want to.
So they're asking for, what, mowing services, somebody to come in and clean up, or
They're asking that it become a city park, because then
a city
they
park?
don't need,
Okay.
they don't need to lease it from the city to have the park and pay that liability insurance. It'll just be a city park, and it would be added to our properties that we already cover. As well, we would be maintaining whatever's involved in maintaining the structures and the lawn and what have you, instead of them paying somebody for that.
Right.
I don't know what happens with the actual plots, if they're gonna find people to still maintain those or not. As far as the gardening part, but.
Right.
So you want to bring this back up again later, or you want our opinion on it now?
Well, how you want to handle it? Do you want to talk to the community trust about it? Do you want a representative who can speak on their behalf to be here? Do you want to talk amongst yourselves about, adding it as another park? I just need some direction, because it's not something I can tell them one way or another.
Well, they currently pay insurance, right?
Right.
And what do they roughly pay?
I want to say it's like $1,200 a year.
Okay. And do we pay additional insurance also for the city?
I don't think so.
Mm-mm.
No.
I don't think it's, but if we added it as a city park and there were any structures on it and stuff, I don't know if our insurance would go up. I don't think it would go up significantly, but it might go up because it's another place.
Would it be less than 1,200?
I don't know.
We would have to see. Okay.
Personally, I think they got themselves a heck of a lease agreement when they got it. The city already has put in thousands of dollars, putting wells, fencing, and electric on there. They pay the utility bills on it. I personally do not think it's a smart idea to change it. It's adding additional work to our Public Works Department that already has enough on a load. And personally, I just don't see where it's a benefit to the residents in the community. I mean, they wanted the gardens, and this lease that they have a right to terminate it with a 30 days if they didn't want to keep it. Also, the city could terminate their lease with 30 days' notice based on this contract. I don't see where the citizens should have to take on additional costs for maintaining that garden when it was vacant land to begin with, and the community, garden wanted to do that for the residents and the school. That's just my personal opinion. I don't think it should be changed.
I think they need to send a representative here to talk to us about what they need, rather than us make our decision. You've been there.
Dana's here.
Yeah. Ms. Greatrex?
Dana Greatrex, 219 North Gaines. I just really asked for a report and expressed at the last meeting a concern for the continued use of our having to raise money for the payment of the $1,200 insurance each year when you're already covered under that, your insurance policy since you own the property. And in 2022, Danny Robbins from the Volusia County Council approached the city requesting a community garden because that was one of his projects for in running for county council. He wanted a community garden in every area that he served. And we had a meeting, and I say we, I was invited to a meeting with a number of other people, and the mayor graciously led the project and offered for people in the community to come and be part of it. And so we had maybe 15 or 20 people that were interested in doing it, and so we formed a board under the community trust as a project of the community trust, so we didn't have to do a 501c3. We were under the project of the Oak Hill Community Trust because they are 501c3. In that 2 years' time, we have had a wonderful time. We have had at least 5 or 6 events, beginning with a big ribbon cutting. We have had a great Green Ambassadors Day where the students at the community, at Burnside Tech would come to the community garden and do volunteer work there as part of a Smithsonian Institution group selection, and that was in cooperation with the Museum of Arts and Sciences. They did receive an award at the end of the second year that the Smithsonian Smithsonian Gardens had not handed out to a school in the past because they didn't complete the project, but our students here did. We have raised $20,000 in cash donations. We have received $10,000 in grants from the Kids Food Service and Volusia County Agricultural Center, Lowe's, Home Depot, and $5,000 in partner contributions. People who wanted to put a banner up, they would give us $500 and we'd have a banner made, and that's what's on the fences. So we have 14 raised beds that people in the community pay $25 a year to maintain it. It costs $100 a piece to build those raised beds. And volunteers, after we bought the supplies, built each bed, and we put extremely good compost dirt in, and we put in a water system. And that's all been from money that we've raised. And so I just really wanted you to know, I don't know how many of you have even been out there to see what happens, but I water once a week on Wednesdays, and different people are volunteering to do different jobs there in taking care of what was wasteland, because it was not fertile, would not grow anything. We took out over 50 pounds of metal, a thing from the Conservancy that we used. We have improved this land, and we have a great number of people who do come and use the garden. You may not see them if you don't go there frequently, but when I'm watering on Wednesday, there are people there working in their raised beds, and there are children under the pavilion, which we built for $9,000, and 13 picnic tables, which $100 a piece, purchased each one, and their names, whoever made that $100 donation to buy that picnic table, their tag is, the family name or the individual. Thank you, Linda. And so there were some children out in the back, and I thought, what are they doing? They're sitting at the picnic table. So they're doing their homework because they love to come to the park. And I think it is a great contribution. I'm not asking that you make it a park. I'm asking that you help us with the monthly, with the insurance policy. It's not monthly, it's annual. But we do have to save for that. We've done a tremendous amount of asking for help through donations, through grants that we've written, and through the partner the donation of $500 for the banners. Just asking for a little help. We'll keep it under the community trust. It can be run by the project group as it is now. I'm not asking you to take it over. Just help us with the insurance. That's an annual payment that I don't think we should have to pay, because you already pay insurance of liability on that property. So that's all I'm asking.
But that would make it a city park. We'd have to make it something to bring it under our umbrella policy.
Right.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
I'm fine with whatever you want to do. And we're not just saying we're abandoning it. We want to keep it. We're very proud of it. We have 2 events coming up in January and February, and March, actually. Mm-hmm. So we love doing these events. The purpose of it and our goals are to bring the community together, an opportunity to get to know people that you didn't know. I have never been at these events that I haven't met people that actually lived on South Gaines and people that live on Maytown Road. People that my path would have never crossed had I not been at the garden. So that's all.
So is
wanted
it just
explanation.
it's just the issue if it was a city park and you could just volunteer at the park?
Sure.
And not have the insurance? So is it anything to do with maintaining it, or?
Well, you have the equipment already, and we pay a lawn service man $100 whenever it needs it. We call him, and he comes and he mows and he does the weed eating. So that's up to you whether you want to help us out that way or not. But I just think that we have shown you in 2 years that we've made a great contribution to increase the value of the city's land. We're not getting anything out of this except joy. And communion, the idea of building community
So all the money that you have collected
and raised
and raised,
and got grants for,
where did that money go?
to all the improvements that we've done. We have
So
a
you've
full,
done roughly $80,000 worth of improvements to the land?
the pole barn itself was 9,000.
Right, okay.
Yeah, and we have definitely improved it more. $10,000 worth of grants has helped to pay for some of the raised beds and the compost dirt that we have to bring in. You cannot grow anything in that soil. You have to amend the soil
Oh, I understand.
before, and we have a children's garden, we have a butterfly garden, we have a rose garden, we have a native plant garden, there's a lot to it. Come and see it.
Oh, I have seen it, and I think the garden is beautiful and it's lovely. I just have concerns of the citizens having to put out more money for an event.
For an
Well,
event?
not an event,
All we
but
want is
for-
the insurance.
Right.
To
Well-
be if you are already covered by that insurance, we just thought, why are we paying for it again? And can we have an agreement without this very technical lease that restricts us, basically? But I just wanted to give a report to you. I think you had no idea that we have raised $10,000 writing grants on our own and used that to put it back into creating a really beautiful space. for
Was there a
the city.
requirement with your grant?
Pardon?
Your grant, do you have to have it for so long?
No, we are given, like, we just got one for $3,000, and we got $3,500, I think it was, from Home Depot. And they came and did a whole day of volunteer work, planting all those trees and the roses and benches and things that we were able to get from that just with one grant.
If you'd like, I can find out from our underwriters or whatever, how much that,
Why don't we do that?
Yeah, and put it on the next meeting.
I just would like for you to know what's going on and the hard work that's being put into it, and the fact that people are enjoying it in this town, and we are having events that bring people together. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Miss Dana, I would like a tour next Wednesday if you're available when you're watering.
Yes.
I haven't seen it, so I really would like to come out and see
I'm
it.
there every Wednesday watering,
All right, I'll get in touch with you.
and there's
Thank
a lot of people that do things on their days.
Mayor, I have one
Yes.
member of the public, Mayor Gibson.
D.A. Gibson, 297 River Road, Oak Hill, Florida. When this was presented to the commission before all of y'all got involved, seemed like an excellent idea to do with that vacant property. The community trust needs to present to y'all financials, the money that was obtained, how it was spent. When you contact the underwriter, you're going to have to name it a park. I'm willing to bet. I was a commercial insurance agent for years. And with the state's insurance, you may not have to, but I think you probably will. Dana, do you all still collect money from anybody that participates?
There's a $25 donation if you would like to have a raised bed for the year, and we provide all of the compost dirt and water.
So if that changes to a park, is the city collecting the money?
All the donations and all the money needs to then come to the
It
city.
opens up a big can of worms, and I'm not against the community garden.
Neither am
but-
I.
To dump it on the city, just because of the liability insurance, I'd think twice about it, really. Because I just think it's opening a can of worms that we may regret.
Thank you. Anyone else? No? All right, moving on. Old business. Lighthouse Cove rezoning, MH3. Second reading.
Okay, I think just to be safe, we should open the public hearing. These two ordinances, just to clarify, were tabled to a date certain tonight. We aren't going to ask you to vote on them. We're going to table them again. I think the applicant's here. I'd like to have some discussion on it with you to let you know what our discussion has been about. But I think we might need to open the public hearings
Sure.
first to do that, since we did table them tonight. So do you want me to read the ordinance?
Yes, please.
Ordinance 2024-11, an ordinance of the City of Oak Hill, Florida, amending its Unified Land Development Regulations by rezoning approximately 5.5 acres located north of Golden Bay Boulevard and east of US Highway North, ID number 853-100000090, from City of Oak Hill RPUD Residential Planned Unit Development to MH3 Manufactured Home Residential Community, providing for severability, repealing all laws or parts of laws in conflict herewith, and providing when this ordinance shall take effect.
Okay.
So this ordinance, if you remember, is the 5.5 acres that the developer is requesting to take out of their current PUD and put it into MH3. I think what they're going to do with that MH3, once it's taken out of the PUD and put into MH3, is they're going to add that to the existing Lighthouse Cove development that's there now. This is not really, we could vote on this tonight, but the developer wants to have them both voted on at the same meeting, so that's why we're requesting that this be tabled. And we will table it tonight without a date certain, so we will re-advertise when they're ready to bring it back.
Okay, so they're requesting for us to table it right now.
Yeah, and
Okay.
just because I'd like it on the record, I'd like
Sure.
Joey to come up and.
Sure. Joey Posey, 420 South Nova. And I think to add what Ms. Shire was mentioning is that there's a lot of tweaking with the plan that I think we can really explore and look at when it comes to especially stormwater. I know that's a sensitive subject. That's something that we can look at from an engineering perspective to really get a grasp and a handle on it. And we've got the opportunity while the plan's open to look at that. The same is true with the lots. There's a lot of bits and pieces of this plan that, to be quite honest with you, before I was involved, the last plan, it probably was a little too vanilla, and it just didn't have a lot of those details that you really want to probably talk through and have a robust discussion about. So that's really what's prompting this, and we had a good meeting with staff to kind of really start that ball rolling and to re-engage the engineer to have that discussion. So that's the reason for this, and it will take us some time. So that's why I'm okay on the owner's behalf that it doesn't need to be a time certain, because it may be a function of some back and forth, some substantial back and forth, that it will just take us time.
Okay.
And that's, the balance of what he's talking about is the next ordinance.
Yeah.
And what we discussed was that we would ask the commission tonight for some guidance on some of the big picture things that I might need to know in working with the developer. For example, this is, if you remember, this is, this PUD is asking that 5 acres be added to it. That 5 acres, if you remember, is right where your stormwater master plan shows a regional pond for the basin that this falls in. the developer is amenable to discussing the possibility of some sort of stormwater park or something happening there. We haven't even begun to talk about it. It's just preliminary. But the fact that they at least would come to the table and try and talk about that, in exchange for that, what I'd like to know is there anything that wouldn't be acceptable to the commission? And specifically, right now, the current PUD has 60-foot lots. Their proposed PUD has 40 and 50-foot lots. If we were able to come up with a negotiated design that works better in the neighborhood, that might be able to have address some of the stormwater concerns in that area, would the commission be amenable to keeping 40 and 50-foot lots? Because that's important for me to know. If I know right now, no, then I know and they know, our negotiations have to work around that. I just want to add that I think a good design can be had with some smaller lots. I didn't like the design of this as proposed, but they're willing to bring it back and show us a better design. So I guess that's one of the things that we need to know from you.
And I think just to add too, of course, this is reserving judgment to when it comes back to you. But the idea of being that if we're able to consolidate footprint in exchange for more open space, more stormwater, other amenitized features of the project, really it's more of the direction of, how do we get there? Of course, the details will have to flesh themselves out, and I'm not looking for necessarily just a definitive, here's the line, but, that's the general mindset we're heading into this with, and I would just like to feel out just some comments and, the direction that the commission would see to just make sure we're all moving in the right direction, and that, there is some, as the feedback's coming in, as we're going back and forth with staff, that we're meeting what the commission sees as something that could be a goal for the plan and how we lay it out, because there's probably the sky's the limit on how you lay something out. It's really trying to achieve the goals of what we're trying to get feedback on tonight.
And just to clarify too, this falls under your current PUD guidelines because it was already submitted. So I know we're going to be dealing with redoing your PUD ordinance, and those that come in the future will have to abide by those new rules. This falls in your existing. So that being said, you still have a lot of leeway in what you would approve.
So are you wanting to have like a workshop to get our opinion of what we would like to do, or?
I'm not opposed to that. If a workshop is the right forum to, go back and forth. There's just a lot of technical parts to this that, just go into the design part that, when you're talking about how you amenitize the park features or other amenities that you would want to see in it. You kind of go down the rabbit hole of, how do you design this thing in a way that makes it feasible, but on the other side you balance the expectations from the developer and how that property, the vision of the property. So I'm not opposed to that, if that's a better forum to have that discussion in. It's just, being that we're at a date certain on this ordinance, the direction I was just insisting on for Ms. Shira is that if there's a way to facilitate feedback, that's what I'm looking for. The way it comes to me, I'm indifferent about, but that's really the goal of tonight.
Yeah. I would definitely like to see that larger stormwater pond.
Me too.
That will help.
About that.
Yes. And some larger lots.
Gotcha. Understood.
But that being said, is the consensus that you may also entertain some of what they're asking for, the 40 or 50-foot lots, along with the larger lots, or no? Because if it's no, we need to know that, because
I will not support it. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Nobody comes to Oak Hill for small homes. Edgewater's down the road.
Understood. That's fair, I understand.
And that's what we need a
Yeah.
consensus.
No, I'd like to see it stay, and Lighthouse Cove currently, I believe, is all 60-foot lots at the very minimum. I wouldn't want to see anything smaller, so it would be consistent at least with Lighthouse Cove.
And that's something we were talking about back and forth. It's just, as we're balancing the amenities and how to accomplish that, and especially on the stormwater side, I recognize the small lots and, trying to avoid that to the extent possible, given the direction from the commission. It's just that, when you're talking about how to design it and to, recapture those costs essentially, that we want to make a feasible development. So if there's a trade to be had in the back and forth, and if the direction is the stormwater is part of what you guys want to see, that's over and beyond minimum standards and minimum requirements in Oak Hill, that's something we're happy to go to the table with and see what we can do on the engineering side.
Well, the stormwater is definitely a very important feature because flooding issues.
Yeah.
Right.
Joey, is the developer still looking for 60% lot coverage?
I don't think 60 is a number, but sometimes it's a function of lot size. And, I know that there was a very lively discussion, and I, just offhand had said that in other projects that are 60-foot lots, 60-foot wide lots that are 120 in depth, I think that I usually work towards a 50% coverage, and sometimes it depends. It really depends on minimum building coverage, because I'm sure as you get bigger lots, you want to encourage a larger home. You want to make sure that, that has the luxury feel to a degree that can recapture those amenities and those costs. So it's a little bit of a trade-off, because
Well, with a larger lot, I wouldn't have a problem with the larger coverage of land, but with a little lot, the former commission voted on 40% coverage.
Yeah.
Period. And that would be a definite.
Understood.
What would be the difference though, Carrie? When would be the cutoff where you transition to a higher, if 40?
I still wouldn't say any more than 60% coverage tops if we had a much larger yard.
So 60% coverage is still gonna do the same thing, whether it's on a 40-foot, the issue is about permeable surfaces, right?
Well,
Carrie?
I think we've got kind of some good information to go with. I don't think we have to get so far into the weeds on
I
that
got you.
tonight, but I think knowing that it sounds like 60-foot lots are the low end that you're willing to accept, which is what they have now. Their current PUD has 60-foot lots. And that you might be willing to work some other numbers in, depending on what the design looks like and how it can.
And that's the recognition that if there's a way to, move beyond what obviously is the minimum standard and what is the entitlement of the property, we're not here to necessarily do a veiled threat or anything like that. It's more of, you really got to recapture that cost in some way, and if there's a way to recapture that in the design of the project, then, that's what we're here to talk about, or that's what I'm here to tell you guys that we're working towards, and that's why it's necessitating the extra time.
So if we were able to negotiate the pond, right, and it was, basically was as described in the Mead and Hunt report, would that be something that would be owned by the Lighthouse Cove, or would it be part of our stormwater system?
It would probably have to be city-owned. Well, again, we haven't really gone there yet. We talked in the meeting about, I let Joey know that we're going to be developing park impact fees. Well, if it's a stormwater park, if it's designed as a public park, then they would be eligible for park impact fee credits for anything they expend.
Potentially.
Yeah. I mean, we don't even have the park impact fee yet, but there's a lot of ways to deal with that. And I guess we wanted feedback if the commission's open to.
The reason why I asked that question was because I'm just wondering, so if it came time for that crazy looking thing to go down the ditch and clean it and everything, would they be able to just scoot right onto Lighthouse Cove and clean the pond and
Yeah.
or all that, or would that, you know,
That's a good idea. Yeah, and that's those are the kind of things that we're really just trying to feel out and talk about, because, again, if there's a partnership that's on the table, then, while everybody's using resources, let's use them efficiently. So that's.
we could have that issue written into the.
Yeah, of course.
I got you.
Into the PD agreement, correct.
I think, yeah.
Okay.
And it's already approved at 60, not 50?
The current Lighthouse
I
Cove
believe that's correct.
PUD, the 20-year-old approval is 60 foot long.
60 foot, I got you.
I believe that's correct.
For that pond, I mean, I would definitely be willing to do 50, and so,
Yeah.
I would.
Again, depending on design, depending on the feedback.
Sure.
That's really what I was here to just feel out tonight.
Okay.
Excellent.
All right, so for L1 and L2, we're going to table those two.
Yeah, we just need a vote to table it.
Okay.
No
Make a
dates
motion
or-
that we table, let's see here, ordinance 2024-11 and 2024-5.
All right, we got a motion.
Second.
Linda's second. Any more questions from the commission? Any questions, concerns from the citizens? None at this time. Go for a vote.
Mayor Taylor?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Catagano?
Yes.
Commissioner Hyatt?
Yes.
Commissioner Drollinger?
Yes.
Commissioner Warning?
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Moving on to new business. We got minor development site plan for 349 Ward Drive.
Yes. Mr. Roger Page is here. Staff has been working, first, his property had to go through a special exception to be able to have the use he wanted, which was boat sales. And then secondly, what he's gone through recently is the site plan review. Can you call that up, the picture of the site plan? And it's gone through review, planning review, engineering. The only issues left, I want to read them into the record now, and I'd like them to be part of the motion to approve, is that as part of this development, that a 6-foot solid fence will be erected along the adjacent streets and the western boundary that abuts a residential property. Secondly, that no boats will be parked on the site within 20 feet of any property line. No existing trees that are there right now will be removed from the property. There are some sporadic palm trees, I don't know if there's oaks too, but on the property. And if over time he needs more space to showcase boats, then we've talked about him coming back to the city with a landscape plan that would allow him to remove some of those trees and replant in a different area on the property. And then lastly, there were several fire comments that were included in the staff report in your packet. They will need to be addressed as the site work and the building are installed. And as well, issues with connecting to water and things like that that can't be worked out right now. Just so you know what's going on. This is US 1 here. This is Ward Drive. There's an existing commercial building here already and a parking lot. So what Mr. Page wants to do is create this internal drive, and he'll showcase the boats for sale. And then here, on the southern end of the property, is going to be a 4,400 square foot building. And the primary use of that building will be kind of selling the boats for sale. And you have to add a motor or a trolling motor or whatever. And some minor maintenance, oil changes, whatever. That will happen in this building here. But this will be the office. So there'll be no office. It's just a 4,400 square foot metal building with 4 bays.
4 enclosed bays, 2 open bays, 6 total.
And the fire department has looked at this as far as, access. Like I said, there's fire hydrants here, but right now that we'll have to discuss as the water becomes available, and the distance to the fire hydrant, that sort of thing. We'll work that out during the permitting process. Yeah, so I think that's it.
Janet, before you sit down, did you say that the commercial building that's existing is going to be the office?
Yes.
Oh, okay, thank you.
So with those 4 items, staff is recommending approval. And I got a check tonight for the review fees, so we're all good.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Okay. Any other questions from the commission? Any questions from the citizens? None at this time. Go for a vote.
Mayor Taylor?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Catagano?
Yes.
Commissioner Hyatt?
Yes.
Commissioner Drollinger?
Yes.
Commissioner Werning?
Yes.
Motion passes. Congratulations.
Yay!
Okay. Ordinance regarding sleeping, camping on public property, first reading.
This was on the last agenda, but it still had the old
Yeah.
council names. So let me read. Ordinance number 2024-13, an ordinance of the City of Oak Hill, Florida, Volusia County, Florida, creating section 28-27, sleeping, camping on public property prohibited, prohibiting sleeping on public property, providing for conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. And this all stems back to the new law, the state law, and you've made your arrangements with First Step, the shelter in Daytona. So because you have an alternate for them sleeping in public, you can now outlaw sleeping in public.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve it?
Okay. We got a motion.
Second.
Have a second. Any questions, concerns from the commission?
So this is an extension of a state law, essentially, is that right?
Well,
Came to us as a state law.
Yeah, Florida statute.
So if somebody happens to be using the park and they sit down and start reading a book and fall asleep, are they going to get busted?
no, they're going to be asked not to sleep in public places.
Gotcha. That's all
You'll
I
see
got.
them in Chung Park.
Yeah. Anyone else? No? Any questions from the citizens? None at this time. Go for a vote.
Mayor Taylor?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Catagano?
Yes.
Commissioner Hyatt?
Yes.
Commissioner Drollinger?
Yes.
Commissioner Werning?
Yes.
Motion passes. Okay, planning board appointments.
We have, I think, 3 applications we've included in the packet. I will tell you that in researching the current code, your code requires that to serve on the PLDRC board, you have to be a full-time resident of Oak Hill. So Mr. Pence doesn't currently live in Oak Hill. In order to appoint somebody who doesn't, you would have to change your code.
Okay.
And there's nothing wrong with changing your code. You know, people who own property or businesses in the city may make a good PLDRC member. It's just right now, the way your code reads, it wouldn't allow it.
Is that something you guys want to amend in the future?
Yes.
Well, I think I would love to have Tom Pence serving on any board in the city.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, so I think we'll have to have a code amended in the future. But as of right now, we have 2 other applicants in front of us. Okay. Right now, we have 2 applicants here in front of us, and one that can't.
I make a motion, we approve Tim Morton.
I second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion from the council? Any discussion from the public? And at this time, before vote?
Oh, Mayor Taylor?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Catagano?
Yes.
Commissioner Hyatt?
Yes.
Commissioner Drollinger?
Yes.
And Commissioner Werning?
Yes.
Motion passed. Congrats. All right. City goals, customer service improvements.
This is just, we continue to work on that. We are now, like, I think I told you at the last meeting, we're open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, including lunch time. So hopefully people can get to us easier. And we're going to start, now that we're fully staffed, Megan Bracy, our new employee, is going to start doing a lot more posting on website and Facebook, and sending out emails to try as best as we can to keep the public informed.
Great. All right. Awesome. All right. Let's see, boards and committees, economic development.
Our city administrator has requested that if I have anything involved, please put it on the agenda, and I will do that.
Thank you.
So just a quick update. I went to Team Volusia's last meeting at Daytona 1, and Linda got to see me in a suit, which is the first time I've worn a suit since I've lived here, which is like 2009. No, I'm not preaching. But we had somebody here from Economic Development in North Brevard, and they said they were very, very jealous of what we've done here in Volusia County, especially southeast Volusia County, because all the communities are working together, and that's why we're able to get companies like Aura Aero up in Daytona with 1,070 jobs. And I was told that in Brevard, they're constantly at each other's throats. So we're doing it right, and let's keep doing it.
Thank you. Nothing for Public Works. Comments and concerns from the commissioners? Nothing?
Nothing.
Anything for you, Joe? Joe? Anything for you? No. All right, all I want to say is hope everyone attends the December 14th parade in Oak Hill. It'll be fun. And Merry Christmas to everybody.
Merry Christmas.
And welcome the Saints and Sinners wreaths across America.
Yeah, Saints and Sinners has the wreaths across America at 12 o'clock
Right.
on the same day on the 14th.
Invite everybody who wants to come.
And on the
Yep.
14th, we're supposed to meet here in the parking lot, and the vehicles will already be here.
Right.
Yeah, I believe
I just was talking because Jack came over and asked. me
Janet,
about
the
that.
vehicles will be here on,
Good.
for the,
Wait, didn't you say
okay.
around 8:30 or 8?
8:15, I think.
That's between 8
Megan.
and 8:30.
What time is the vehicles going to be here for the parade?
I still got a adjourn.
You want us here?
Yeah, to take them to Edgewater.
So around 8:15, so you guys can be here around 8:15, and then you'll go to Edgewater City Hall, and from there, you'll come back here, go to the Saints and Sinners, hopefully Wreaths Across America, and you'll come back here, we'll have lunch, and then I'll have you guys line up for the parade here in Oak Hill.
Okay,
Okay?
great.
If you have any questions, call me. Okay?
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Megan.
Anybody make a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Do we got a second? All in favor? Meeting adjourned.
Good job, Mayor.
I got something to carry my stuff in now.
That's a plus.
Well,
Everybody happy? Everybody happy?
We'll see. We'll wait. We'll see.
Sorry, kind of here at the headlight over there.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Question about that, so we're not quite sure if you were.
He's doing it right.
So you like to sit here if it didn't break? Realize we got another one in my closet, which I'll probably wear in another 15 years. Yeah.
Misunderstood. I'm glad that we clarified on the record that it's 6 one way, a half dozen another, because I was not specific in my exception. Yeah, so I should have indicated the amount of hours. I think we'll be okay.
Let's check. Cover first one down.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be good. Well, I have